we flew a mission every day, but each pilot only had to fly every other day. You had 1 day off. 1 day off, and then you flew a combat mission, and 1 day off and flew a combat mission. On your days off, it was very important to have something to do, because we were living in the jungle in a tent, and mosquitoes and bugs and snakes and you name it. New Guinea was one giant jungle that infested with every kind of thing you could imagine, and so living was tough. The thing that was important to us is it, strangely enough, was in the evenings we would pipe in music from the Armed Forces radio station, and our favorite music came from Tokyo with Tokyo Rose. I don't know if you ever heard of her. Well, Tokyo Rose we listened to her every night. She was something. She would, of course, she also would tell her little story every night about, well, the red-nosed butcher shot down some more of our airplanes, but we're going to get even with them, and we're going to blah, 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 blah. And then she'd go and play some music.
She was playing American jazz and stuff.
Oh, yeah, she had the best
American
hits.
top
She had the
hits.
latest music. I don't know where she got it, but she had it. And she was broadcasting from Tokyo. So it was a thing. But anyway, you had to have something to do, and that was very important. So I took my sketchbook and I sketched and I painted, and many of these paintings and sketches and stuff, I've got stacks of them inside there. I did during the war, on scene, most of them on scene things. And that was what I do to keep what doing, and that was important. And those of us who found something to do did well. And I also did a comic strip that I put up every other day. I'd put up one installment of the comic strip, and it was about a hot rod or a really super fighter pilot that I don't know if you've ever heard of Errol Flynn. Probably not. You have? Okay. Well, he was a hotshot type guy. So I created a guy called Speed Flynn instead of Errol Flynn, Speed Flynn, and he was a hot dog fighter pilot and shot people down. But he ran into a super female Japanese pilot, and she was just almost as good as he was. This is a comic strip now, mind you. Not really. But she would shoot him down, and then he'd shoot her down. And then he'd meet somewhere and blah, 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 blah. So anyway, it was a comic strip, and the guys just loved it. And I did one every other day, and if I didn't have that thing ready, on my day off, I didn't get in the mess hall. So I had to get the next installment of Speed Flynn.
So the pilots and the mechanics and everybody on the base loved it, right?
Oh yeah, they all come down. They'd come over. I put it on the bulletin board, and everybody would go over to see it, see what the next one. If I didn't have a next installation, I was in trouble. But they loved it. But we did different things to keep our mind off the thing. And we have a great flight surgeon, who I don't know where he got it, but he managed to get booze. And when we would come home off of a bad mission, long mission, he was strapped into a tiny cockpit. The P-38 was a great airplane, but a tiny little cockpit. And boy, you were beat after 6 or 8 hours in one of that tiny little cockpit. But he would always beat us when we came in, and he'd walk down the row with the guys as you pulled in. You're in order, And when you pull in and stop and shut her down, and then the next guy would go by you and pull in and stop. And he'd be here with the first airplane up and give you a big shot of bourbon in a canteen cup. And I got to tell you, boy, that was great. Then he'd go to the next guy as he rolled up and give him a shot of bourbon. So that was his contribution, and that helped a lot.